swear these other podcasts are just a waste of time. I'm skipping through them, I'd rather listen and change my mind. Wes and Nick always help me through my daily grind. Your favorite guys, your favorite lines, change my mind. I swear these other podcasts are just a waste of time. I'm skipping through them, I'd rather listen and change my mind. Wes and Nick always help me through my daily grind. Your favorite guys, your favorite lines, change my mind. Yeah.
Nick, Tim, should we be able to call out strangers when you suspect them cheating at a friendly game of golf? By the way, I have my, for those of you watching on the WBSM 1420 live stream from New Bedford, I have a hot off the presses 5L podcast t-shirt. So if you're not already subscribing and listening to just one of the many podcasts that our co-host Nick Fryer hosts, this is another one. So in addition to Change My Mind, give us a follow at 5L. Give Nick a follow at 5L, not me. I'm just so lucky enough to leave a review and get a nice shirt.
You're part of the family.
The Podcom Nation.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm a distant relative.
Exactly. Not so distant. So let me. You said,
but yeah, back
if
to the
someone's cheating in a game.
If I suspect someone's cheating in a game, a friendly game of golf, a game amongst friends,
right?
Am I allowed to call them out if I don't know this person?
If you don't know this person, I would say no.
Okay.
But other people with you know them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So I'll give you a for instance.
Okay. Yeah.
I was out golfing today with my father at the Cape Club.
Okay.
Fabulous round despite horrible weather. And my dad brings one of his coworkers. We'll call him Brian. His name's Brian. We'll call him Brian. He's not listening to this, right?
You're the exact people who are involved in this.
Yes.
I love it.
It's a for instance, but it's ripped from the headlines, as they like to say on Law and Order. But he just kept saying, he would never finish out his putts. So he would just pick them up, within 2 feet, right? So yeah, it's good. That's no big deal. It's fine. We do that with one another all the time. But I don't think he counts that stroke.
What?
So you know what I mean? So like you're on in 2 on a par 3.
Yep.
You rim out, your par putt. So you pick up, that's stroke 4. You're picking up the ball as the stroke.
Right. And you would count it as a par?
Now, I'm not great, so I can't confirm this. So I have high enough numbers to deal with on my own, to, let alone keep track of someone else's strokes.
Okay.
But it's just like, I beat him on the front 9.
Yep.
His game didn't really get much better, and we were all kind of keeping score. And he beat my dad and I, who by 5 or 6 strokes.
Really?
So that means, yeah.
It doesn't add up. So can you call someone out in that situation? I would say no. I mean, unless you want to get in a little bit of a fight.
And it's 17th hole, I go to my dad, because we were in a cart, and the guy was in a cart by himself, and I'm like, he's a nice guy, but I kind of think he's full of shit.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
My dad's like, I think you're right.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to golf with someone like that ever again.
Because even coming into it, he told me that, my dad, who we usually play, neck and neck, we usually come down to, the final hole. Mm-hmm. He beat me by a stroke this past week. But, it was my dad tells me he usually plays with this guy regularly.
Really?
And he, wipes the floor with this guy.
And he somehow managed to beat you both by 5, 6 strokes.
Maybe it was 4 or 5 strokes. Still. Even still, if I had beaten him on the front 9, he still had work to do. I think I got him by 2 strokes on the front 9.
So he made up 6 strokes minimum.
So that's probably what it was. It was probably 4 strokes
after being down
picking up the 2. So he won by 4 on the back 9.
You mean he would have won by 6?
He won by 6 overall. Won by 4 on the back 9, and then lost by 2 on the front 9.
That would mean he won by 2 strokes then.
He won by 6.
Right. So he won by 6, so that would mean he beat...
Yeah, whatever. Okay, you know what I'm saying. Okay,
yes,
I'm bad at math.
But either way...
This is why I can't keep track of other people's strokes.
Fair point. But you do have a feel for the game. So I understand. I can understand how you'd run into that issue. I've definitely had that before, where people kind of fudge their score a little bit.
Yeah.
I personally don't care much because I don't put a ton of effort into golf.
No, neither do I. But again, just
you got to enjoy their company. Who
cares?
Who cares? So that's why I normally
you're only cheating yourself.
But
you're not getting on the tour anytime
soon. The only way I'm going to put up with that on more than one or on multiple occasions is if I enjoy that person's company that much on the golf course. Because that's the only time.
In that case, then you can kind of bring it up to them. you can almost say like jokingly, like, "Hey, what the heck, man?"
No, someone who does that is very, very insecure. You got to cheat on something like that. You're very insecure.
Right, and
sorry.
I would call them out for that.
Why would you call him out for that?
I'd be like, you know that we're just friends here. It's just a friendly game.
Yeah, we're not playing like we're not even playing like cheap money either. You know, it's not even like we're doing like a couple of like front back total score, and then you put like $5 on.
It was
each.
all pride.
Yeah, it's just going out there for fun. Just a couple. It was my dad's birthday round.
If I'm playing for money, then I'm making sure we're confirming the scores every single time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. You're not messing around with that.
You don't need to worry if you ever play against me. With me, it's just like everyone just mark it 6.
Oh yeah,
market 6.
That's kind of how it was. I was at a very elite, semi-private course
on the Cape.
On the Cape, yes, the Cape Club in North Falmouth, right off Route 151, and I birdied the par 5 ninth hole to, win the front 9. It was great. I needed a birdie. Yeah, I was very happy with that. But it was mostly 6s for me on the day.
You love your golf, huh?
It's a great time.
Yeah, that golf pisses me off to no end.
Well, it was also a 6-hour round. The guy takes more practice swings than I've ever encountered.
My dad and my brother love golf, and my dad loves it. He's gotten back into it, and he's really good. So he like tries to help me out a lot. But the other thing is like he's one of those people who takes a little bit too long. But
yeah,
dude also shoots like in the 70s. So
then at least it's justified. Like I'm a grip it and rip it type of guy. Like I just want to kind of run through it. Like I feel like I'm wasting swings on each practice swing. I don't feel like I'm correcting something. You know what I mean?
I do one practice swing, boom, that's it. So I can understand that. I'm
lock and load, ready, go. So this guy's taking his time, and it was a cart path. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Cart path only. Whatever. But anyway, we're not talking about my mediocre golf game today.
Oh, we weren't? I was totally ready to go in for an hour. Yeah.
We could do that.
We could do it.
I could fill a full hour just on my mediocre golf game.
That's a different podcast called Change My Grip.
Oh, there we go. I like that.
And we're sure we want that to be about golf, or?
Well, I would hope so.
We could cover a whole vast variety of topics underneath that title.
No, but you're right. But today...
that's my problem.
I think today we're planning on talking about the two... We would probably say the best live-action Joker interpretations.
Well, I've been teetering on this. We talked about this last week. I
That's
had
right.
Maybe a tie for third between Joaquin Phoenix and Jack Nicholson.
Technically, would be a tie for second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, you math really. Wow. Jeez.
It's all the same.
I'm taking Joaquin Phoenix's side on this one today for sure. That he is the best Joker live action.
I'm surprised you're doing that's for sure.
For sure. What did I say?
No. I'm surprised that you're for sure.
Oh yeah.
Taking.
Yeah, that you're that solid.
Very confident in this. I'm going to win this debate today for sure. And I can't wait to convince other people who don't think that he's the best Joker. But we have news to get to first, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Big news, more DC news. I feel like every week, Marvel's kind of going to the back burner, and we keep getting more DC stuff. Not that it's good, although I do like this move. But, everything, the Birds of Prey trailer and like everything.
The Joker was great.
Joker was good.
Joker was. You gave it an 89. You were
Great.
very high on it. 89 is a high score for you.
Great.
Yeah,
It's a high score for a DC movie from him for sure.
Yes.
Is that your highest score for a DC?
No, I think Shazam was higher.
And you would give Dark Knight a higher score than that.
Yeah, but I don't consider those. But yeah.
Okay, yeah, because it's not. Yeah, because Nolan obviously killed it.
But in this one here, we're talking about the newest Batman. Mm-hmm. We have, according to Deadline, Zoe Kravitz has been cast as Selena Kyle, or Catwoman, if you will. I will, for the newest Batman movie directed by Matt Reeves. She's actually has experience playing the role, believe it or not. She did voiceover work for Catwoman in 2017's The Lego Batman movie.
Get out.
Yeah. I will not.
So then they should bring Galifianakis back to play the Joker, right? Because then he'd do...
Well, if you want the Joker to be in that movie.
Yes, I think I do.
But it could be.
I could get behind Will Arnett as a live action Batman.
I would like that.
That'd be funny.
But how's his Bruce Wayne, though? That's what I want to know.
I think you'd be a great Bruce Wayne. I think you'd be the best Bruce Wayne since Michael Keaton.
That's the real question we need to answer. Anybody can wear the cape and cowl,
That's
right?
Exactly.
But can he be Bruce? Can he be a smug billionaire? I think he would. I think he would be great.
Perfect.
I think when we start making shirts, that needs to be one of our shirts. But can he play a good Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, but how's this Bruce Wayne?
But how's this Bruce Wayne? There you go.
But yeah, so your thoughts on Zoe Kravitz?
For those who don't know, Zoe Kravitz is Lenny Kravitz's daughter.
Yes.
Which you could have guessed.
Mm-hmm.
But she's also in X-Men, the first one was the First Class.
First Class, yep.
The first one, and she plays. I don't know if her name was Firefly. I forget, but she was the
Firefox. Very fast browser to go opposite of Internet Explorer.
Or Safari.
Or Safari.
Or Google Chrome.
Right.
But anyways, we're not talking about internet sites, servers,
browsers.
Search engines. Right, yes, browsers, that's it. Thank you. As I knock my headphones off.
Yes.
I believe it's Firefly, don't quote me on it, but she was the character that had the butterfly wings and she could spit fire.
And she was a stripper.
And she was also a stripper. Yes. So she, what?
No.
Yeah, so just so everybody remembers who she's, because as soon as I started
perked up at the stripper part. Yes.
I'm wondering how much of this is nepotism. For getting this job.
Really?
Her stepfather is Aquaman.
Her stepfather is Aquaman?
Yeah. So Zoe
Jason
Kravitz.
Momoa?
Zoe Kravitz is the daughter of Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet from The Cosby Show.
Okay.
And Lisa Bonet is now married to Jason Momoa.
Didn't know that.
So it's like,
got some pull now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Throwing his
that's
weight
an
around,
interesting
like
wrinkle.
Gotta get the family in there.
Yeah, jeez.
I think she'll do a great job. But
Yeah,
she's
I think
beautiful.
She was. I enjoyed her performance in that movie. Not a major role, but she did well with what she had to do.
And for those of you who may be a little confused by that beautiful baritone voice that you just heard, that is our resident guy in the chair, Tim Weisberg, who's been dealing with a little bit of a cold today, so we appreciate him powering through for us.
I had to sound extra sexy for you tonight.
It was great.
Oh, yeah. But what do you think?
I think it's cool. Like I like it. I don't know much about her, so I don't have a thought one way or the other. But I kind of like getting a little bit more diversity in there. We've already seen Jeffrey Wright cast as Commissioner Gordon. Mm-hmm. We got Robert Pattinson as a Batman. We got a nice Brit playing an American billionaire.
Pattinson I'm fine with, but I like the idea of using actors who are kind of known but not really that well known, where they can kind of immerse themselves in the role.
Star adjacent, where you're not necessarily seeing the name and thinking like, oh, that's who that is.
And I think that's one thing Marvel did very well, because Robert Downey Jr. was a star, but he had
not at the point that Iron Man.
Not now, not to where he is now. But he was a known name, and then he had fallen from grace. Mm-hmm. Chris Evans was kind of known, but really only as Johnny Storm. Which Chris Pratt was a known name, but not as a superhero, action hero type character.
Right.
He was Scott Hatterberg and Andy Dwyer.
Andy Dwyer, yeah,
exactly. So
and a bunch of like side characters in other comedy movies. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that this is a good move on their part if they're trying to build up Selena Kyle at all.
One more villain they have casted but haven't given a role to yet. Jonah Hill. One more actor they haven't given.
They've definitely cast him, or is that just a rumor?
I'd see in the story that I've read.
Okay.
And
was Deadline?
It must have been the Deadline story.
Mm-hmm.
That said that he's attached to the movie.
Okay.
Signed on, but it's either the Riddler or the Penguin.
I think
he could do either. I'd want him to gain some weight back.
It depends on which Jonah Hill he is. Fat Jonah Hill is the Penguin. Skinny Jonah Hill is the Riddler.
Exactly.
Skinny Jonah Hill
He's
looks
kind of
so
like
weird.
ripped too now. Recent. Did you see that photo that someone caught of him? Where he's holding an iced coffee that. Like he was holding it by the lid, so he was kind of holding it like this, and then the lid fell up, and some paparazzi snapped the photo, like just as it was detaching and the coffee was coming out. That was like what made like news, whatever it was last week or something, going around social media. But everyone was also talking about, man, Jonah Hill's kind of ripped now. He's not just like a skinny former fat dude.
Oh, okay. Does he have a big head still though?
I don't think so.
Because that would bother me a little bit. Like he's like a walking, talking candy apple.
Right, yeah.
That would be a little weird to me. I think he's Penguin, man.
I could see either.
I'm not a fan of him being the Riddler, just because Riddler's so like, also, I'm kind of thinking of the Jim Carrey Riddler. And if
like the spandex.
He wouldn't do that.
Your Riddler needs to be insane. And he's more of a better performer as somebody who's just giving like smart ass one-liners, which would definitely be more of a Penguin thing.
Yeah,
and
I like that. Yeah,
like look at Batman '66. Like with the way Burgess Meredith played the Penguin, where it was kind of like he would just rip off a good line now and then, but generally he would just kind of, talk normally. I think that's probably what they're going for, because the Danny DeVito Penguin, which. Bring him back. He's still around and he's still great. But the Danny DeVito Penguin was more grotesque.
Definitely has the look that little.
When I think Penguin, I think Danny DeVito. he's #my penguin.
See, but the original Penguin wasn't like that. The original Penguin wasn't half man, half penguin. The
Right.
original Penguin was just a fat guy in a tuxedo.
Didn't he just
Yes.
have like hooves?
No, not originally.
No, but the Danny DeVito version, his hands were like this.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had webbed hands and
Yeah.
webbed feet.
That's great.
Isn't
That's
that
good
from Star
stuff.
Trek too?
Well, that's Live Long and Prosper.
Live Long
but
and
The
Prosper.
Vulcan.
Also,
right?
Vulcan.
some people have
Sign of the Vulcan.
problems
Thank
where
you.
their hands are webbed and like
Yeah.
their hands are stuck like
I think
that.
I've met someone who has webbed feet before.
His name's Michael Phelps. Fantastic swimmer, I'm sure.
Yes.
Whoever you met.
I think, yeah. Yeah, they might have been. Anyway.
El Camino,
Okay.
the Breaking Bad Netflix movie,
I
you may or
haven't
may not
seen
be
it yet.
familiar with.
I haven't seen it yet, but you two guys saw it. So I'm going to take my headphones off, cover my
Okay.
ears, and let you guys talk for a little bit.
All right. Just also keep the camera on him, though, because I have a feeling he'll make some funny faces.
All right,
on that.
I'll
That's
keep
just
it,
me
I'll keep
talking
it right
here.
on him.
You saw it, Tim.
I did, and
We refrained talking about this off the air.
my thought was it was nice to have,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think really a whole lot happened. As I said to Nick, if this had come out, if this was something that was built up over a couple of years like Avengers Endgame, I would be hugely disappointed.
Right.
But whereas we only found out about it a couple weeks ago, and like now it's here, I'm like, okay,
It's nice that we have it. Yeah.
it's nice to have. But it's not like I was jonesing. I know a lot of people were Jesse Pinkman fans. I wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't really get the whole appeal for him. And, like, I'm trying to think back. What else was he on? Was that really his breakout role?
Yeah, it kind of was. Yeah,
Because he hasn't really done it. Like, I know he's been
on that
a
show
voice
on-
on BoJack Horseman.
he has a show on Hulu. That was I saw the first couple episodes, The Path, or
yeah.
Amazon, one of those two. But he, I appreciate the Jesse character more now, having watched that movie, and I think like we needed that to understand the character and to appreciate the character.
He's
more.
kind of a punk. He's a punk.
But you see in this like he's not anymore.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of making that full evolution. What I liked about it was you got a few kind of like nods for fans.
Mm-hmm.
You got some of
Well, the whole movie is kind of like fan service.
right. But I also I liked some of the stuff that was in it. I loved getting to see Todd back again.
Yeah.
I forgot what a great character that was, because like he's so stupid.
Yeah. that's Jesse Plemons, right? Is that yeah.
Like you forget like how stupid he was and how great he played him as a stupid villain.
Right.
But
yeah,
yet-
no, he was one of my favorite characters. My favorite things to come out of this movie.
He's he was always one of my favorites in everything that he's been in.
Yeah, he was in Game Night. He was awesome in that movie
I don't
too.
think I've seen that yet.
Oh,
but
it's good. Yeah.
Friday Night Lights, I hated him at first, but then like you grow to like the character over time.
The TV show.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he was on Fargo, one season of Fargo, and he was really amazing in that. So, I mean, I would almost say like it was just as much his movie as it was Aaron Paul's.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny. It's this is exactly what I'll read you what I wrote down here. It's almost word. It was good, but not great. I'm happy we had it. I made the mistake of skipping the previously on portion.
Yeah,
And I also didn't watch it as intently as we were talking about before. Like I was making dinner and stuff. Stuff was going on.
I thought
so
about
missed some
watching the
things.
last episode again before watching the
It
movie.
was too far, too much time.
But I was
between.
afraid that if I did that, that would lead to me going back and watching the whole series.
Right,
again. And
exactly.
I can't devote that much time now.
And then the idea that Jesse Pinkman can decide his own fate. I don't think that's too much of a spoiler.
I still, and I mentioned this to you before we went on the air, and maybe somebody out there is listening. I still don't understand the Mike scene where he's standing on the side of the water talking to Mike. Mike's telling him to go to Alaska, but he's already got the shaved head and the leather jacket on. Mike should have been dead by that point.
Right. Yeah, that was weird. You mentioned. I think that was one of the scenes I walked out on.
Because
and
by
just
the
wasn't there.
by the time Jesse escapes, and by the time he goes to Badger and Skinny Pete's house, like he hears the report that says that the people are dead. So Walter's already killed Mike by that point.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't have an answer for you on that one.
I'd have to read like some of those recaps online. And
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. Do some digging. It was slow, but it still did a good job of kind of keeping the suspense throughout. Like I was still kind of like interested, intrigued the whole time.
It's called, none of this stuff would actually matter. You could have listened to all of this. It's
He
called
just likes looking like a psycho.
It's called A Breaking Bad Movie, which makes me wonder: will there be more Breaking Bad movies?
Right.
And I don't really know like who else do I care to see.
Well, because you already got Better Call Saul out there. Like who? Yeah.
Which tells you a lot of the backstory. So Saul's backstory from that show, and you know a lot of Mike's backstory from that show, so it's not like we need like a Mike movie, although I'd love it because Mike's my favorite character.
Yeah. Yeah. But I would like the huevos, the chicken
Gus Fring?
polos. Yeah.
So Gus Fring is actually on Better Call Saul.
Oh, is he? But is
So-
he like big in it though?
Oh yeah. So
Oh,
basically,
okay.
what they did is because like Better Call Saul is happening before all this stuff, they had him, get involved with everything, and so now he's basically like in every episode.
Ah, okay.
So it's-
all right. I like that. Okay.
No,
maybe I'll
trust
have
me.
to give
like,
that a show.
You watch the first season, and it's going to be a little bit rough. When you get to season 2, and then season 2 is great acting. By the time you get to season 3, you're like, this is Breaking Bad. I get this now.
Okay. All right. I'll keep that in mind. We can bring you back in now, Nick.
You
Yeah.
really didn't miss
Good,
anything.
good boy. Come back. Yeah.
Nick,
there
I
we
do
go.
have one question for you
Okay.
and I'll ask Wes the same question.
Go ahead.
Take away the fact of what car the police were looking for and everything else. Would you rather drive an El Camino or a Pontiac Fiero?
I can't even envision those.
An El Camino is the car that has like the pickup truck back.
But it's a sedan.
Right. But it has like a pickup truck bed for the back of it. And then a Pontiac Fiero is like a 2-door version of a Firebird.
Okay. Did you already ask Wes this question?
No, I'm asking both of you right
Give me
now.
the El Camino.
You would take the El Camino?
Yeah.
And then what's the other one?
The Pontiac Fiero, Fiero.
That was the car he had after.
That was, Badger's car.
I would go with the El Camino for sure.
So the El Caminos are cool because they had Hemis and they were basically like a Monte Carlo SS, but it was like with a pickup truck bed. I had a Pontiac Fiero.
Oh, did you?
Yes. It was not one of my finer.
I was going to say, so which would you...
I would still pick the Fiero. I hate El
Yeah.
Caminos.
Yeah, I don't either, but it's just a nice kind of novelty, It's a conversation starter. You bring it to parties. People are like, whose El Camino is that? Oh, that's mine. Oh, hey, nice to meet you. You look like a real jackass.
I just thought it was funny that, he had to get rid of the El Camino, so he ends up driving like the only car that's probably worse
That's
than an
probably,
El Camino
yeah.
to people.
I would say a Geo Tracker is up there.
But better a Tracker than a Metro.
Or a Metro, too. That's the little spec bubble, right? The
Yes.
sedan, yeah, or 2-door coupe. Okay, so anyway.
You didn't just spoil something for me, did you?
What?
What you just said with the El Camino and you had to get rid of it or whatever?
No, it's like in the trailer, like you see him driving the Fiero.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the movie's called El Camino.
Okay, I'm just asking. I don't trust him. I don't trust either of you.
I
for
would
that matter.
never. I hate people that ruin things. I'm going to leave the room so you don't ruin Joker for me. I would never ruin a movie for you.
Okay.
Never.
What
I
state?
don't trust you.
What state nickname is the Last Frontier?
What state nickname?
Yeah, that's a spoiler without context. You
Yes.
see those things on Instagram.
I gotta say one of the Dakotas.
You would be incorrect. Okay, so we'll move on from that.
Okay.
Anyway, Venom director says Spider-Man crossover will happen, quote, eventually.
Oh.
This is big news. If
That
you
is
ask me.
huge.
I
That
don't
is
know.
huge.
I've really dug deep for this one.
Well,
here.
it's going to be Holland too, right? Holland
Yes,
and Hardy.
that's what they're saying. So, in an interview with Fandom to promote his new movie, Zombieland Double Tap, excuse me,
Ooh, I'm excited for
Ruben
that one.
Fleischer, who was the director of Venom, said, quote, "It's all going to lead there." And that's exciting because we changed the origin of Venom from evolving from Spider-Man to not, because they obviously couldn't use Spider-Man
Yeah, how the
and
hell-
all that stuff anyway. So it's all building towards when they actually confront one another. Also worth noting here is Ruben Fleischer is not the director of the film for Venom 2. Andy Serkis is heading on Venom 2. Nobody knows the involvement of Ruben Fleischer in this movie, so where is this information coming from that he's saying that?
How does he know it's actually going to be the case?
I have no idea.
I don't trust anything that when it comes to Spider-Man and Sony right now.
Neither do I. No.
Other than the fact that he's back in the MCU, I do trust that.
Right, but that's Marvel. Right,
Yes,
I believe it because it's a Marvel thing.
Because Marvel is involved. Absolutely. Yeah, with the Sony stuff, man, I don't trust them at all. And I don't know how I feel about... I mean, yeah, you need to have Spider-Man with Venom. I understand that. But I'm kind of okay with the Venom origin story as is right now because Spider-Man is not in that universe.
Right.
If he is in that universe, kind of bothers me a little bit. I got to be honest.
Well, what's he doing in San Francisco? I mean, I know he's going, he's globetrotting all over the world.
I think because he got in trouble with what he did because he's an investigative reporter.
Well, I mean, Spider-Man.
Oh, right, Spider-Man. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think you would bring Venom back to New York.
That might be what you do.
I guess.
But he got kicked out of New York previously, but you can always write
Also,
him
the
back.
sequel's going to have Carnage in it.
supposedly.
That I'm excited for.
So
That's
if you're
what I
going to
want.
have Carnage in it, that's probably what's going to draw him back to New York.
There will be carnage.
Because, Cletus Cassidy, as far as I know, is locked up in New York.
Yeah, but
So
maybe
Charlie would
not,
have to
though.
go back for that.
I think Cletus Cassidy's actually going to be starring in Zombieland Double Tap too.
He will be, yeah.
I'd be pissed too if it turns out like we could have had Spider-Man be in the origin story and he's not. Like, ridiculous.
The origin story of Venom.
Venom.
The original.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they were saying. They were trying to get some sort of even just like a cameo or something in
Where
there.
they couldn't do it, they shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, I agree.
They should have found a way to just kind of tell the story around it instead of showing him becoming Venom. Just explain that he already was Venom. I hate the fact that they feel like we need to have the origin of every character.
For story IP that already exists.
Yeah, you don't.
Like, just give us the story.
Yeah.
Some people are going to care. Some are not. More, I would say, aren't.
That was so great about the original Spider-Man. Well, not the original one, but Homecoming. Is that they didn't give you the backstory. That you're like, all right, you get the idea.
Right.
Spider,
We've
we
done
don't
it
have to get
twice.
into it. Yeah.
We've done it twice. You had the cartoons. If you like Spider-Man, you already know.
Yeah. Now, maybe not Spider-Man, but there is another animal person who rounds out our news segment of the week.
This looks. I can't believe you're in on this movie.
I'm not in on it.
Oh, good. Okay, that's comforting.
I don't understand it. I'm not saying I would go see it.
Okay.
I just can understand how this would make a lot of money. The Doolittle movie, starring Robert Downey Jr., dropped its trailer for reasons I have no idea why.
Did you see it, Tim? Because we watched.
The trailer? No. Is it Disney produced?
No, that's the thing. It looks like it's Disney produced,
It does
but
read
it's
it entirely.
is it Warner Brothers or I forget, but it's not Disney.
No,
The
it's
only
whatever
way
it
I could
is.
think of it, like even being a smart move for Robert Downey Jr. is if like it was somehow tied into his Disney contract. They're like, well, we're gonna hold you to one more movie, and it's gonna be whatever we. And
See, I think he got paid a buttload of money because I don't understand why
But
he would
he's
be
already
involved
made
in
a
this.
buttload of money.
Well, I think he's not gonna accept money because he's like, nah, I'm good. I've had my fill.
I think
I'm
I
not
would-
gonna go back to the buffet.
I think I would eventually say, okay, well, I don't know. I'm assuming that by being a Dr. Dolittle movie, it's some stupid kid-friendly movie.
Kind of,
Oh,
but not really though.
I think it's going to be a kid-friendly movie.
I wouldn't say yes, it's kid friendly, but I wouldn't say it's geared towards kids.
Like it could almost be
I think it's more encompassing.
an adult Dr. Dolittle would kind of be funny.
That's
like if
the
you
vibe
had like
that I'm
really
getting.
dirty animals.
Well, it's
Oh,
not that.
yeah,
No, it's
not
not
like-
that.
not like
if it was like that, I could see it happen.
X-rated.
It feels very weird to me, though, Tim, because Robert Downey Jr. sounds like he's doing an ASMR video. And I like those, but not when it's in situations where you shouldn't have it. He's talking like this the entire time.
The accent. I don't get
With
the,
a
ac-
British
with the
accent.
Is it a British accent though?
I don't know.
Like,
I can't do a British accent.
The original Dr. Dolittle was British.
But so like he did Sherlock Holmes,
great.
right? Did 2 movies of Sherlock Holmes where we had that British accent, and this is like a
This does
completely
sound weird,
different
yeah.
dialect. Which hey, kudos to him if that's the case.
Did he have a British accent in Sherlock Holmes?
I thought he did.
I thought he did. Maybe we just because. Maybe he didn't. No,
I thought he was an American Sherlock Holmes.
he was definitely in.
It was in England, but I thought
England.
he was an American.
He could have been.
I don't know. Jude Law's in it, so I figured that he was just British too. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I don't remember.
I just assumed.
Yeah, but either way, it does sound weird.
Yeah.
It's not what I remember from Sherlock Holmes. I can tell you that.
No, it was
But
not.
he's also whispering and each time he talks pretty much, except for like the one instance where the tiger comes at him. That's
Right.
it. He's whispering. He's like, why are you advertising
But
it like this?
It's all CGI'd animals
I'm so
that
out of
have, that can talk. Obviously,
Well,
that
I mean,
they
it's
can
hard to get real
engage
animals to talk.
feelings. Well,
Oh.
you'd be surprised.
Is it really?
What was the line from there was a movie called Hot to Trot that had a talking horse with John Candy doing the voice and Bobcat Goldthwait. And he's like, well, what about Mr. Ed? He could talk. No, he couldn't, but his lips moved. Your lips would move too if somebody was shoving a carrot up your ass.
Oh, well, there
So
you go.
Well,
you,
yeah.
you can get animals to move their lips at least.
Okay, yeah.
Just involves carrots and
Right.
anally
I don't
probing
think
them, right.
the
Which is,
ASPCA
I
would
think,
sign off on those.
wildly
things.
inappropriate.
No,
Tim.
no. But I think this will make a lot of money. I don't want to see
I'm
it.
blown away by that.
I don't. I think people respond well to emotional animals
I think
or humanistic animals or
think-
personified animals.
And don't forget too, 90% of the audience going there just wants to see Robert Downey Jr. alive.
yeah, that's a good.
Like that's going to be who goes to see this film.
that.
They're going to expect
That to
Tony
me
Stark
makes more
talking to
sense.
animals.
Now, yeah, so I want Marvel fans to go there and then draw the connection of how Tony Stark didn't really die. but he is just in the Witness Protection Agency, sailing the world with all of his animals.
And it's
And
actually
that-
his daughter in the movie.
Everything that happened, instead of killing him, just led him to be able to talk to animals.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
That's the power of the
Or
Infinity
even
Stones when you
better,
snap.
the animals are all just Jarvis. Or actually, not Jarvis anymore.
Right, but yeah.
Friday.
But
yeah.
now that's what's actually operating all the animals.
Oh, see, that's good. That's real good right there.
I'm so. If it was all that, then I'd want to see it. Then I'd understand why he's whispering all the time, because he's lost his friggin' mind because he just died from snapping. But yeah, I just think this is a movie that's like, why do we need this?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I don't think it'll do well.
No,
I don't
think it'll do
It
well.
might do little.
We didn't need Joker movie.
God damn it!
Oh,
I hate you so much.
you.
Get out! Just.
You sly
I can't get
son
out
of a
till
bitch.
drinking buddies.
That's fantastic.
Oh, you're such a pain in the ass. Oh, that was really good.
That was nice. I love a good pun. Love a good
You
pun.
got to keep me around for something.
That's it.
So, real quick on the comic book minute. So, got two things that I think are noteworthy this week. We have Tales from the Dark Multiverse, Nightfall. So, Batman Nightfall was when Bane broke Batman, which we saw in The Dark Knight Rises, where he bends him over his knee. Snaps him in half over his knee. This is a little bit different, though. This is like picking up for where he left off, and I have this coming off of CBR's preview, if I can get it. So 30 years after Bruce Wayne was broken and failed to take back the mantle of the Bat, John Paul Valley, also known as Azrael normally, known as Saint Batman, has turned Gotham into the city of his dreams. In his new order, killing has become commonplace and criminals live in constant fear, all in the name of justice. But just when all seems lost, a new hope for Gotham City rises, the son of Bane.
Oh.
That sounds like a dope a dope story,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
And it's a one-off too. It's, I guess it's selling at $5.99, but I might have to go pick this one up.
Especially if the Bane that if they're taking kind of more the movie Bane approach, where he's actually cerebral and he's not just a monster.
Yeah, and it's Son of Bane, so they can do whatever the hell they want with it. The other one that's big too is the Dawn of X is starting, because Powers of X, and I think it was, what was the other part of the X? But either way, that whole X-Men, House of X and Powers of X. Yes, that whole event has ended, which has now started the whole new X-Men universe, I guess, in the comics. They talked about rebooting it and everything. So X-Men is the first one that's going to start things off. X-Men 1 is this week. So you have Wolverine, you have Marvel Girl, you have, I thought you had Storm. I guess not. That's in a different one. Cyclops and a few other characters. Cable's in it too. So, I mean, if you like the X-Men, they're kind of starting things over again. It seems like it's going to be a new story. The whole Powers of X and House of X was a total... was a very different storyline, and that is I'm excited for what's next with the X-Men.
How lazy of a comic book artist, writer, however you want to, thinker to come up with Marvel Girl. Or like Captain Marvel. Like, it's a Marvel comic book. We're going to call it Captain Marvel.
I don't get that.
I'm a Marvel girl. Like,
So there,
it's like,
I think
let's
the
call
original-
it the next superhero man.
Miss Marvel is another one too.
Superman's pretty bad,
superhero. Yeah, Superman's pretty generic, but he was also founded in the 30s at least.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the original Captain Marvel,
was Shazam.
was Shazam. So I think that what it was that Marvel wanted to have a Captain Marvel character to take away that mantle, because they needed to have. I think they thought it was going to be a flagship character for them, and it just didn't take.
The Miss Marvel one's weird to me though. To Wes's point,
that's always been a little strange.
That one's kind of out of left field, but that was originally Carol Danvers. Yeah, but I get your point. The Miss Marvel one.
Come up with anything else.
Yeah.
We say this all the time, but it's on the nose.
Yeah, well, there are some times where it's like
even for me, that's like too on the nose.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's very on the nose. But for our drinking buddy this week, to go with the theme of talking about El Camino, we have partnered up or juxtaposed against one
Paired
another.
off, yeah.
We have Jesse Pinkman and Saul Goodman. Which one are you guys going out for a drink with on a Friday or Saturday night? Wes, would you like to start, or would you like Tim to start?
Is it only on Friday? Because I'm a Thursday night kind of guy.
You can pick the night.
Okay, so that's okay. That's good to know.
I'm just trying to set the scene.
Saul Goodman, no question, hands down. Good time. It's always what's the popular phrase? You always want a good lawyer and a good bartender friend. Like those are like the two important people to have in your life.
I will take your word for that.
I feel like I've heard that before.
Dad.
You should ask your dad. Your dad's a lawyer, right?
Barely, but yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure what that means, but
I'll ask Marcus Farrow next time he's in.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. So yeah, it's always important to have a good bartender, a good lawyer, and your friends. And he could possibly be at least one of them. I don't know if you ever attended a bar.
Do you want to see your attorney drinking a lot though?
Yes. Especially if it's one that I know that's Saul Goodman, who's going to help me like launder money and get things. And if it's Bob Odenkirk playing him, that's a good time. He was almost Michael Scott.
That's right. He was almost Michael Scott.
He would have been a great Michael Scott too. So it's like it
would have been different.
Saul Goodman, kind of an a-hole. Bob Odenkirk, I would hang out with him any minute.
Okay.
So the problem here is that neither of you have watched Better Call Saul, and you don't know about his real, how he became Saul Goodman.
Because that's not his real name, right?
Right.
No. So if you knew that character and kind of the evolution of Jimmy, then it's completely different. And you would look at him in a different perspective and say, like, here's a guy that I really would like to sit and have a drink with him. It wouldn't just be like this caricature of himself that he became later, this scumbaggy guy. Like there really is a lot of depth to him there, and probably more depth than there is to Jesse. But here's the problem: is when you go out drinking with Saul, it usually turns into pulling a con on somebody. So you got to be ready to be part of that if you're going to be drinking with him.
Yeah,
like he's gonna try and scam somebody out of some money while he's drinking.
You do it for as long as it's not me.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'll do it for the story.
But that Jimmy McGill, that's like what he does. Is he goes out and he'll be at bars.
He's
and
a grifter,
and he'll con people out of money, and they do a really good job of like kind of getting into his psyche as to why he does it. I don't think I could stand to be around Jesse Pinkman very long.
Yeah,
I've never been a fan.
Yeah, just doesn't do it for me.
I appreciate him better now, having watched the movie and seeing kind of like, what he became.
But if that's what he has to go through for me to like him, then I'm good.
If I'm going and having a drink with, I forget what his name was at the end of the movie. But that would be one thing. But if I have to go and have a drink with, yeah, bitch, I'm not really down with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
He's
thing
very
is
short.
What?
He's very short.
Short is in stature?
Yes.
Okay. So that is not a deterrent for me in this situation. I would go with Jesse because I think that
you have a big personality, Tim. Though.
I totally graduated high school, dick.
That's pretty good, yeah.
He has a ton of stories to tell. And he's I feel like he's much more willing to share than Saul would be, as much as Saul may have.
No, Saul will have great stories to tell you. You just won't know how many of them are true. But you will be thoroughly entertained.
And I'm not sure, given what we've seen in El Camino,
that Jesse would tell us.
That Jesse Pinkman wants to pull off the scab.
Okay. Yeah. Then I would probably go with Saul. Then I would be in the same camp as you guys.
Yeah, right? I think, I don't know, because I was never, were you a big Jesse Pinkman fan?
He was fine.
Yeah,
now, if I'm drinking with...
I know some people who really liked him, though. I
don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, he was really popular, I think. I think we're in the minority here.
Yeah, we're the Walter White fans when you're not supposed to really be a Walter White fan.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely like Walter White the most.
But
Skyler?
If I'm... please, no. If I'm drinking with... I liked Hank.
Yeah.
If I'm drinking with that death hurt when they killed Hank. If I'm drinking with Jesse and Badger and Skinny Pete, that's a different story.
Badger.
That might be
going
fun.
Badger.
You know who I would not want to drink with was the Candy Welding guys.
Oh yeah.
They just seem like a bunch of douchebags.
Yes.
Did Badger die in Breaking Bad 2 or no? I don't think he did.
No.
I don't think
he just died in the movie we saw, the evil Superman movie.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Brightburn.
Yeah, Brightburn.
No,
yeah.
Badger's in El Camino.
Oh, is he?
Not a spoiler. He's in the trailer.
That's fine. I could see why he would be in.
He goes to Badger and Skinny Pete's house when he's looking for help.
Oh, okay. But you ended up seeing Brightburn, right?
Not yet. I haven't seen it.
Well, Badger's in Brightburn. And
see, I think a solid drinking buddies question would be, who would you rather have a drink with, Walt Jr., a.k.a. Flynn, or Skyler?
Oh, that is a good one.
It's the lesser of the two
probably-
evils.
That's a really good one. That's a damn good one.
It's Flynn. by a
I just
long
wouldn't
shot.
want to drink with what's her name, the girl that got killed with Walter, the one that they poisoned the tea.
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't want to drink with her. She was like the biggest pain in the ass. In the
Yeah,
whole
no,
show.
thank you.
It wasn't Jessica Jones in this show too?
Briefly.
Yes, yeah, Kristen Ritter, yeah.
Yeah, Walt let her die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
She OD'd.
it's not a spoiler because you guys haven't watched Better Call Saul yet, but you know where he came up with the name Saul Goodman.
No.
Saul Good, man.
Get out.
For real.
Wow.
That's where the name comes from. Saul Good, man. And what's
That's
funny is
actually
the moment
brilliant.
they drop it on you and you're like, oh, geez.
Yeah, that's
like,
it.
stupid. Why did I not realize that?
Yeah.
But that's what it's all about.
That's good stuff.
I had no idea.
So now I think is a portion of the show where we say goodbye to our faithful guy in the chair as we get to our main topic of the evening, which is who's the better Joker?
Between Heath Ledger.
Or one Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes, sir. And Tim is almost out the door, and then we can get started.
Well, so just to reiterate, I would
Goodbye,
like
Tim.
to just update some people as we normally like to do with our main topics when we're reviewing movies about what they're doing in the box office right now. So Joker is still number one. This is one full week. So they won the box office weekend, opening weekend, and now one full week in the theaters. They've massed $548.2 million worldwide.
Damn.
So this means Joker is roughly a little more than halfway to matching the Dark Knight's $1 billion total. I think it was $1,004 million is what
Nice.
that made. For further comparison, Joker's $193.6 million domestic first week is a little bit lower, about $40 million or so, of the Dark Knight's $238.6 million domestic first week.
Huh.
Interesting.
I don't know.
So as we saw with Avengers Endgame, when it comes to these totals, like just because it took half a week to get $500 million, or 1 week to get $500 million, those numbers drop off dramatically. Because how many of those people, unlike Avengers Endgame, how many people are going back and watching this movie for a second, third, and fourth time?
I don't
think that's not really that. We were saying that
Yeah,
the rewatchability is kind of low here.
I actually thought the rewatchability was there. No, I'm sorry. This is one of those movies where you have to be in the mood to really sit down and watch it
I
over
agree,
again.
yes.
It's not like a Deadpool.
But
where
I do
you can
want to
just
see it
whenever.
because we were talking last week about like that Fight Club kind of thing about like what was real and what wasn't. And
Yes, I think that's there. There's a second time rewatchability for sure in terms of just seeing it as something completely different.
Right.
But I think it's a quality movie that I would enjoy watching again. It's just I gotta be in that mood to do so. Actually, I might see it again soon. My dad talked to me about seeing it.
Yeah, and I was kind of surprised after listening around to a bunch of other podcasts, not even just the local ones here that we like to listen to. But a lot of people were down on it.
I don't get that. I
thought it was really good. I think it's expectations versus reality. I think it's what it comes down to ultimately. But
I mean, first of all, there shouldn't be expectations for a Joker movie. I don't care that Joaquin Phoenix in it. How do you have expectations? You have no idea. What do you know to expect?
It's the same thing that Jared Leto faced. I think everyone's going to be walking in that shadow
Of Heath Ledger?
Yeah.
That's it? I mean, this is where...
Well, and it's also, I mean, the source material is so vast. I know not for an origin story per se.
This is where people are dumb, Wes. Because...
Wait on me.
The difference between Heath Ledger and this Joker is Heath Ledger... He doesn't seem like a Joker who just started being the Joker. As much as it's the first time we see him, It doesn't seem like he's all brand new. This is where we'll start our argument here, where I'm taking Joaquin Phoenix's side. This is the beginning of Joker. This is like everybody expects him to. The other Joker, Heath Ledger Joker, had a plan and all. He's an anarchist and all this stuff. This Joker can become that Joker still. He can become whatever the damn hell he wants.
Can he though? I have a tough time
Yes, he can.
Making that reach.
Right now, it doesn't seem like it, but he's at the very beginning, and he sees everything as a joke, and it's fun. Like, yes, Heath Ledger's Joker has kind of a purpose, but at the same time, he doesn't have a purpose. He wants to disrupt order and everything like that. This Joker can go and disrupt order. He can absolutely go and do that. Why can't he? He can do whatever he wants.
So I think it's important, especially when we're talking about two movies that kind of take on a Joker at two different points in their lives.
That's huge.
To going by what we just know and not being able to go off of where we think he would go or where he came from beforehand. All that other stuff. We just have to go by what we saw on the screen.
Right.
Like, that's the only evidence that we have.
Well, that's the problem, though. I feel like a lot of people don't go by that. I think people look at Heath Ledger's Joker and say, this is gospel. Most people, over Nicholson, most people say that.
Yeah.
And
that's where I'm at.
And that's part of the problem. You say, like, you can't go and factor all this stuff in. Well, you're factoring in that's the Joker, and that's how he's supposed to be.
I think it's great. I think we've seen an adaptation of even just how Joker's portrayed even in like comics and other things. You kind of see the smeared face paint and that kind of like disheveled look. Like I feel like you look back through comics and he like was kind of like a sharp dressed dude.
He
like,
was
slicked back hair and like everything was kind of like perfect makeup and like nice pinstripe suit, purple suit. And then now he's just kind of like ragtagged.
He's definitely lost it. And if you look at it as a death,
and I think that comes from Heath Ledger. Like I don't know, maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe that was reflected in the comic books beforehand. But
they've definitely made alterations with him through the years. I've said it before. I'm not as familiar with him in the older comics. I would say my original stuff that I saw was from the Batman the Animated Series. But the things I've seen now, he's a mess. But I don't look at him and say he's an anarchist and he's trying to bring down the system. I feel like he's always trying to create problems for Batman. He's trying to create chaos. Absolutely, agent of chaos for sure. But
is Arthur Fleck an agent of chaos?
In some ways, he is an agent of chaos. He went and just blew a guy's head. Spoilers, by the way, in case you know.
Well, this is second episode in on this.
You should know. Well, if they didn't listen to our review episode, these kind of things usually do better numbers.
It sounds like a personal problem to me.
Well, that's a fair point. Either way, he's absolutely an agent of chaos. He went and shot a major television star they were in New York, right? No, they're in Gotham. So basically New York. He went and blew his head off on TV. All the news. How is he not an agent of chaos? So yes, in some ways he's different than Heath Ledger, of course, but yes.
But but it's not the Joker that we come to have known over the years, I would say.
He's not He's not Heath Ledger's Joker, which wowed everybody. Which he was perfect. He's a perfect foil to Christian Bale's Batman.
I don't think he's even Mark Hamill's.
No, he's not.
Joker.
But Heath Ledger's
he's
is
not Jack Nicholson's Joker.
And
he's
neither
not
Heath Ledger's.
He's not a mobster. I know that. Well, that's what I mean.
Right.
So, but we're asking who's the better.
Right.
So even in your argument, you're still comparing him to Heath Ledger. Like you're trying to say, like, you know what I mean?
No,
like,
but you're saying all these things, and I'm saying neither of Heath Ledger's.
No, so I think Heath Ledger is a great, starting off point for the conversation of what the perfect Joker should be. So one, I think there has to be mob ties. Right, there's some sort of organized criminal activity that they're involved with.
You can say that if you want to. I don't think he has to.
I think so. Yeah,
I think he can just be a friggin' nut. But go ahead.
I think he's also that. I think you have to be funny. I think you have to find that balance between someone who is incredibly maniacal, but also can like snap back and kind of have that laugh into it. And I think we get that from Heath Ledger's performance. I mean, some of the comments, like every time he's talking to all the mob bosses, it's hysterical.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's funny.
When he's talking to when he's trying to kill when he's killing off all the guys in the opening bank heist scene. And they're like, I bet the Joker told you to kill me after we take a bigger share. And he's like, no, I had the bus driver. And it's just like his delivery of everything is fantastic. But then you also see him go to that like sharp other end.
Yes.
Where like he's on the television broadcast with those like homemade videos that he was making.
Yes.
And he gets in that really low voice and he's like, look at me.
Mm-hmm.
And that freaks me out.
That I don't remember.
And it's the parallels of those two that I think that you can kind of go to either end of the spectrum at any moment's notice. I don't think we saw that necessarily.
No, we don't. But the first example you gave is totally Joker. The second one is Heath Ledger's twist. That's something I've never seen before.
But which I think is great.
You know what? I should have started with this disclaimer. I love Heath Ledger's interpretation.
Yes, and I like Joaquin Phoenix's too. So
exactly. So, but for the sake of this argument, anyway, when I appreciate that interpretation, but I don't feel like Joker necessarily has to do things like that. I like an awkward Joker. I want a Joker who just doesn't fit in, because that's the whole thing with all the super villains is they all look at Joker and say, this guy is so friggin' weird. Like, not just that he's a nut, he's like uncomfortable to be around, and you have no idea what he's gonna do. I mean, Arthur Fleck, you know what? We all thought he was gonna kill himself on TV, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens? Boom. See, is it Maury? See Robert De Niro, whatever.
Yeah. What was his name? Why am I? It begins with an M.
It begins with an M. It's something, and it ends with a Y. But either way, see you later, Robert De Niro. I'm blowing your head off on TV. He's unpredictable, and he killed his mom after he loved her for so long and all this stuff. So, this guy is not he's weird. He doesn't entirely have a plan, and I don't mind that either. I don't need Joker. Yes, I want him to have some semblance of an idea of what's going on, but he's at the beginning stages where now we're seeing, he may have a plan, but he may go see an opportunity and he's going to run with it, and it's going to be way more nuts than what he originally had planned. I want unpredictability.
So I think the unpredictability is important, and I think that's what Heath Ledger also brings to the table. He definitely has more direction than Joaquin Phoenix does in this, in The Dark Knight.
Yes,
he has a plan. He can carry it out. It is a very intricate plan at that.
But they both don't really have I guess they both kind of have an endgame. I would say,
and that's my problem. So the guy who does it, what is Joaquin Phoenix's endgame? So this is what you were saying, right? So, I can picture Heath Ledger's performance because he was a villain. He was believable. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, he actually seemed like a bad guy. From what we saw in Joker, this was just a guy that you felt sorry for. And this is what we talked about a little bit about last week.
Did you feel sorry for him that much?
More so than I did for anything of the Joker or of the Dark Knight.
Yes, well, yeah, absolutely. He's a straight villain there. Well,
or of any other Joker.
I felt bad for him, but then
across.
It's like he becomes a friggin' nut by the end of it, and he kills his mom, and he kills that dude.
That's the whole point. You're supposed to be able to sympathize and understand where he comes. I mean, that's the whole point of the movie. That's what Todd Phillips had even said. But I just can't buy, and I know I'm kind of breaking my own rule here, that Joaquin Phoenix's version of the Joker would go on from this movie and become like a big villain.
Really?
Yeah.
How are you breaking your own rule with that?
Because I was like, let's just take what we
Gotcha,
have,
yeah, okay.
From start to finish, credits and everything.
No, it's fine.
I just don't see it, because even the uprising that he causes in Gotham City is almost in spite of him. It's not because of him.
How is it not because of him? Everybody was like beloved. He was he didn't
lead it or anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not a leader. Like, right, the Joker, Heath Ledger's version of the Joker was able to rally people around him.
He took mentally unstable people, and he had those kids who helped him. Like, when he kills off one of those mob bosses, and says the first time, but the dad story about the smile.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing about the Joker is he is not a leader. He's an unstable friggin' psychopath.
But he's smart enough to win over the mob and get all of the mob's money.
But this guy is at the very begining of his career. Can we agree that Heath Ledger does not seem like he's at the very beginning of things?
No. And that's what I think also adds to, just the overall, like, what's the word I wrote down here that I'm blanking on? I don't know, whatever. But the overall scariness, for lack of a better term, of you don't know his backstory. So I think part of knowing who Arthur Fleck is, or who the Joker was before he was the Joker, takes away from the aspect of just how scary or corrupt or how bad or how you think of him, because you know the person before the face paint. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's that idea of, like, the idea of the unknown kind of being, a little bit more attractive or appealing.
Okay.
Welcoming into, like, that. I already know Arthur Fleck there, and we only really get the Joker for 10 minutes.
You're right. We only do it
10 or 15 minutes. He's not the Joker for that long. He's Arthur Fleck for the majority of the movie.
Right, but it's still like we need to see. I mean, he's slowly going more towards Joker every single step of the way. But you are right. He's not the Joker till the tail end of it. But let me ask you this: three. So, quick questions. One, who has the better laugh between the two?
Oh, that's a tough one. They're both really good.
I'm taking Joaquin Phoenix's.
Yeah.
That's what I think of when I think of Joker.
Yeah, I'd probably go with you on that one.
Who has the better outfit between the two?
Ledger.
Okay. That's a tough one for me. I mean, Ledger's is really awesome. What I'll say about...
I don't even like... It's something weird about Joaquin Phoenix's face paint.
Well, yeah, because it's like the old school... Like, I've never seen Joker's face paint like that.
It's kind of weird, yeah.
The thing that
it's off-putting.
The thing that I think helps Heath Ledger's Joker out so much is... And at least it had this effect on me, and I'm curious if it did on you. I mean, I knew it was Heath Ledger, but when I look at him, I cannot tell that it's Heath Ledger.
Right.
And it rattles me. I have to, like, in his...
Remind yourself, yeah.
Yeah, and I really, like, as I've watched it through the years, I really try and see, like, is that really him? Because it doesn't look like him. I'm thinking of the guy from The Patriots, in Knight's Tale or whatever. Like, that's who I'm thinking of. And this is the same person?
But, to his credit, I will say that... You ever see Lords of Dogtown?
No, but I've heard of it.
Okay, yeah, so it's a really good movie. He stars in it, and he is like a Southern California surfer bro, and everything. And you don't even recognize him. Like I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, because he has such a thick accent like that. And I think what is he, British or Australian?
I think he's Australian.
He had a strong accent, but he had a very strong like Southern LA California accent.
And of course, he's in 10 Things I Hate About You Too. And
right, and he had the glasses on, and I didn't even realize the dark like Ray-Ban sunglasses on. I just never recognized it was him. Like he had completely submerged himself into that role as well.
Huh. The glasses too, I'm sure, made a huge difference. But that's the thing. He's a phenomenal actor. There's no question. Both of them are phenomenal actors.
Right.
So then my last one for you was, who would you feel like if we're sitting in a room right now and they're here with us?
Okay.
Who would you feel more uncomfortable with next to you? Or if you have both of them next to you, who would you feel like?
I don't think I would feel comfortable with either one of them. But what I will say is
who do you think's
that
more inclined to blow your brains out first? I guess is my question. That's what I'm trying to get at here.
The Joker. So the Joker, like Arthur Fleck. What are we talking? Like
Jokers, both Jokers.
Well, no, I understand that, but
Arthur
I mean, like
Fleck
Arthur Fleck fully into the Joker by the end of the movie.
Fully into the Joker by the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Murray, that was it. Murray Franklin.
Yes, Murray Frank.
Is that it?
Well done.
Yeah,
he didn't even need to look it up for those not watching on
I think that was it. Just kind of came to me.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, so right after he killed Murray.
Well done. You're absolutely right. Well done. Yes, right after that.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm still going Heath Ledger.
Really?
Yeah. He blew up a hospital, man.
He did blow up a hospital, but at the same time, he gave him plenty of time to
Kills Rachel.
Evacuate the situation. Yes, he did kill Rachel, but Rachel's also in a situation where she's tied to Batman.
He created Harvey Two-Face.
He did create Harvey Two-Face, which was terrible.
Like that, those are like three big things
but
right there.
But there's motivation behind.
Put up 4.
Think about it. There's motivation behind that, right? What's the motivation for killing Murray Franklin other than that he's got money? He did nothing wrong. Made fun of Arthur.
He insulted him. The whole reason why he wanted to have him on there.
Think about that. That's what I'm saying. He is far more unstable and far more trigger happy by the time he becomes Joker.
Okay. All right, I understand that, but how about in the early opening scenes when we see the Joker getting introduced to the mob and he does the magic trick with the pencil? Why did he have to kill that guy?
Because he was attacking him. I'm not saying
no, that is right. He did come at him.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you look at everything other than where he killed really that bus driver, but was part of the bank, the heist and everything. He pretty much has a reason to kill everybody that he kills. There's like some level of motivation. Now, you could argue at the same time when it comes to Fleck, there's some motivation, self-defense with some of the bank guys.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about those bank guys, those finance bros.
Oh, so you're not upset they died?
No,
okay.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I more so mean in terms of the motivation and everything like that.
But even then, I'm not sure how much that adds to it, right? I mean, I guess the kids beating him up do, but I mean,
yeah. But what I'm trying to make that case is with Murray Franklin, you really don't have a reason to kill him. You don't. Not like any of the other ones that Joker has. He has like somewhat of a reason, part of his plan.
It's what he represents, though.
Yes, the instability that at any second you just look at him oddly. Now at the same time,
well, I was saying what Murray represents.
Oh yes, what Murray represents. But that's it.
The haves versus the have-nots.
Exactly, and he just wants to show the have-nots or the haves that the have-nots can take what they have.
Yeah. Like what better way to do that than on a late night TV show?
I guess I can't think of a better way.
Everyone, I would imagine everybody watches.
I'm sure. Yes. At that time, they definitely did.
Right.
Because it's like the 80s.
Right. He only had like 4 channels.
But my point is that he is so unstable at that point, and it's in the very early stages. And I think that he could grow into something more. Just to break your rules because you did too.
Yeah.
I think he could grow into something more that's harder to deal with than what Heath Ledger brings to the table. He may not accomplish as much, but he may cause more chaos, if that makes sense.
Heath Ledger pushed Batman to the brink.
Mm-hmm.
Batman.
Yes.
Aren't you the guy who says Batman always figures things out?
He does.
Always wins.
And he did.
He did win. But at what cost?
But the true...
He really pushed him to the edge.
But the true Joker isn't in it to win anything. That's the thing.
Yeah, what was he trying to win?
You're saying he was trying to promote that, show that anybody can just flip a switch and turn evil into any single day, on any day. You're one bad day away from being me.
Well, that's
something else. But
yeah, that's a different.
That's a different movie.
Yeah, that's not the Dark Knight.
Are you sure it's not the Dark Knight?
I didn't think so.
I'm pretty sure that is.
I thought that was from a different Batman movie.
Let's see.
Could be mistaken.
I'm pulling it up right now. Oh no, that's the Punisher. The Punisher and Daredevil.
Okay.
I thought that was the Joker.
No, I think they say it in something else though. I think it might be in a comic book or something like that.
It might be. Killing Joke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. There we go.
Yeah. So anyway, so not in this sense, but where was I on this point?
I think even just looking at it, I think Arthur Fleck is the happier looking clown. Like, who would I rather have, working my kid's 6th birthday party?
Yeah.
It's Arthur Fleck, even if he does bring a gun with him.
Yeah, no, you're right about it.
There is no way that I'm having Heath Ledger come and blow up balloons for my 6-year-old.
No, I would say you're right. Yeah, that he's definitely a happier. He's still pretty freaking terrible. All clowns are brutal looking, dude. Let's be honest.
And I will say Heath Ledger put a bomb in someone's stomach and sold it back up.
That's a good point.
That's pretty maniacal.
That's pretty maniacal. But this Joker ain't there yet. That's the thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So this is peak Joker that we're talking about. We just got just the tip.
Right. Yes, we did just get the tip. But I feel like we saw a lot with that tip. I feel like
it was an impressive tip.
Yes. There's a lot there. Like
maybe want to see what else was behind.
Yeah, it's like this is only the tip. Oh man,
wow.
This, that's kind of what I mean. With this Joker, I mean,
God, I've never heard that before.
Well, maybe someday when you grow up.
I hope so. Yeah. Still waiting for the balls to drop.
We're talking about the Joker still, right?
I don't know. I'm not even sure.
So, but with Heath Ledger's Joker, he is very smart. This Arthur.
That's what I mean. He's dumb.
Not so much.
He's a dumb face.
But that's what he's got balls to go back to what we were just saying. Like right. Like he'll just do whatever, like on an impulse. And now, while I will say Joker needs to be smart, I don't know that Arthur Fleck's Joker cannot become smart, because when he becomes the Joker, he's different. And all the stuff that he said, I'm not saying he was right, but he was like making a decent case. Like,
and
he was
getting there was confidence behind his voice for once.
That's it. There's confidence behind his voice. It's still deranged and everything like that, but I think that's what. And I think eventually he could become smarter and have bigger plans and get people to do things because they're behind him by the end of it all. Because he showed he had guts.
Now the other thing about the Joker is that he is gets beat up a lot. Could take a punch.
Mm-hmm. They both could take a punch.
I was going to say, who do you think takes a better punch?
Well, this is where you got to give it to Heath Ledger, but this isn't fair.
Because he gets beat up by Batman.
He gets beat up by Batman. But this Joker gets beat up a ton, and like he gets beat up by those kids, and then he gets beat up by those guys not long after, and he has those bruises. So, I mean, I still got to give it to Heath Ledger though on that one.
Yeah, you get beat up by the Bat.
But yeah, exactly. But this one, no, Arthur Fleck's no slouch.
He's got dogs too. Well, I guess he takes over like the Russian guys' dogs.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Joker did.
Heath Ledger, yeah.
Yeah, Heath Ledger had him. Yeah, but you know what you say? You know what's funny too is I wonder how much, going back to the whole Fight Club kind of ending twist, I do wonder how much those people were behind him by the end of it all. You know how everybody was behind him in that moment.
Oh yeah, but so that was after the fact though, right? So like, I guess. Okay, so it was after the reveal that Zazie Beetz wasn't really his girlfriend or love interest, but it was before, obviously, the end of the movie where he's in Arkham Asylum.
I'm talking about when.
Right, but that's where
Oh
it
yes,
falls.
yeah, before the Arkham Asylum. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Like, it's right after he shot Murray, and then they get him out of the police car and everything like that. Everybody's there rallying around him. Part of me wonders how real that was.
Right.
Because we saw what happened with the comedy club, where we were kind of led to believe that they were all laughing with him, and then it's like, no. They're laughing at your ass when you said the whole people aren't laughing.
And even
now.
Todd Phillips, like, I know this is getting a little bit off topic here, but I heard Todd Phillips say that there's like 7 or 8 different endings to the movie, and I'm like, what are we doing here? What does that mean? There's 7 or 8, like the movie ends 7 or 8 different times, or there were 7 or 8 endings he could have chosen from.
That's what I got the impression of, that he could have done 7 or 8 different endings, which I would have been fine if you just ended it right with him being on top of the world.
See, I thought he meant there were 7 or 8 different endings depending on which angle you view this movie from.
I hope that's not what it is.
But we're almost like getting back to it right now. You know what I mean? So we got 2 of them right there at least. Everything's all fake, or everything is all real, and then you have some variations in between there.
Yeah, but I think there are really only 2 real endings. Then you, like you said, and then you can have variations off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely confusing at the end of it all.
I don't know. I don't know left from right anymore, you know?
I will say this. If that was all a dream, then yes, he's very creative mind and everything, but then obviously it goes...
Then he's not the Joker.
Yeah, he's not the Joker,
exactly.
and then it goes, he's disqualified.
Right.
Yeah, but...
Knife play. Not applicable for Joaquin Phoenix.
Knife play?
I feel like the Joker was very big in the knife play. Like, the whole time when he gets brought into, Gotham PD, they found all the knives on his suit.
Yeah.
Obviously, you get the Jared Leto knife thing where he's lying. You're going to give me the laugh?
Don't.
No? Okay. No, I won't make you do it. But, he's lying and all the knives that are pointing to him. Oh, that's something else. I really love that. I do.
You know what's funny?
That's awesome.
You'll appreciate this story. So there was a girl I was dating in college, and one night we were just sleeping in bed or whatever, and
or whatever.
And I just, like we were legit, no, I swear to God, we weren't messing around or anything like that. But we were just sleeping, and I was like, I had started doing that laugh. I think Dark Knight came out when I was in college.
Okay, yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah.
It definitely came out. I remember it was that whole thing. So I did the laugh, and I did like right in her face, and she was like, "What the hell are you doing?" You know, I scared the crap out of her, and it was just like that.
And was that the end of the relationship? Or?
No. We did it all the way through college.
Oh wow, good for you.
Power through. Still friends to this day.
She put up with it, huh?
I kind of had to stop doing that.
You should send her a video tonight.
Yeah.
Of just that laugh.
I'll cut it out.
Yeah, and see what happens. Oh no, just send her a little FaceTime. Yeah. A little video
that's
message.
A good, yeah. That won't go over well. I'll think about it though.
But there's no knife play to get back to that subject.
Yes.
With Arthur Fleck.
I would say
I would have I think
better
it's
fighter.
a very personal
Heath
thing.
Ledger.
Yeah.
If we did a scorecard, there would be things where I would say I think that Heath Ledger would win in quite a few, but they're not necessarily what I think is always quintessential to the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the mannerisms that Arthur Fleck has is more accurate to what I think with the Joker.
Yeah, because they both are really great at manipulating their body language.
Right.
I would say with Heath Ledger, it's like the licking of the lips and like all the little like facial tics.
That was a great ad by him.
Yeah, unbelievable.
But that's manic. That's what he's doing there, and everything else, it feels like there's so much more anger behind it. Mm-hmm. Whereas, Joaquin Phoenix is completely manic, and that's why I think that's what I think is important.
Well, it's like the body contortion and like the way he just never feels like fully comfortable with himself, like in his own skin.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that's very important that he beats Heath Ledger in.
Right. Yeah, but again, we are catching these two iterations of the Joker at different points in time. Mm-hmm. One looks and appears to be very comfortable in his own skin throughout the duration of it because he has the ability to hide behind the mask. Mm-hmm. And the other doesn't find that until he finds the mask or the face paint or whatever.
That is a good point. That is a very good point.
Thank you very much.
We've also moved the goalposts like 15 different times when it comes to...
Well, it's tough, though, because it's tough to say, like, all right, well, yeah.
You gotta think about projections in the course of it all.
Another funny moment where like the Joker kind of has to have a sense of humor through it all.
Yeah.
Was in the Heath Ledger when he comes out in the nurse suit.
Yeah. That was a good.
I was that's funny. That's funny stuff. And
That
he's,
was
he's
funny.
just like, hi.
Yes.
That's great. That's good stuff.
Yeah, that was good. They're both. I think personally, they're both phenomenal performances in the course of it all.
Yes.
And
But again, I still think I might take Jack Nicholson over Joaquin Phoenix.
That's-
just because it's more of the Joker. It's not just Arthur Fleck.
that one hurts me a little bit. It does.
That's a big part of my childhood.
Yeah, that's a fair point, but
A funny moment, though, I will say, for Joaquin Phoenix. I meant to bring this up on last week's episode. There was a point, I forget where, what goes on, but he's talking, Joaquin Phoenix is talking to someone, and he goes to leave, and he leaves angrily. And I think it was cops or something. Yeah, cops are going to question him right after his mom goes in the hospital. That's what happens. And he's like, well, if you excuse me, I have to go tend to my mother who just had a stroke. And then walks right into the exit-only door
Yes.
sign that doesn't open.
That
and
was
I'm
perfect.
Like, that's hysterical.
yes, that was perfect. But here's my
But
thing.
that's like just Arthur being a loser.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not like intentional comedy.
Yeah, no, but it was good. It was good for like the tenor of the movie.
Yeah. But that got like a pop out of me. You know,
Oh,
I was like, aha, yeah.
With Nicholson, did you feel like he had a plan or no in the course of what he was doing?
Yeah, I thought he had a plan.
That's
Yeah.
part of my problem with him.
Right.
Like, I'm not, again, another phenomenal performance.
But everything he
but
says doesn't make sense.
That's
You ever
also-
dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yeah, that's one of the more famous lines ever.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, is that cinema Scorsese?
Oh, there we go.
A-hole. But
You know, I didn't say this in the top, but I had you as the Martin Scorsese to my Todd Phillips. And I did not say that. I wanted to get a little rise out of you.
wow, I'm glad you didn't do that
Yeah.
because I wouldn't have appreciated that.
So I think we're both in agreement that I won this conversation. But is there anything else that you would like to
Not
say?
even remotely the case, but we'll. I don't think we're
throw
gonna.
it in there because I feel like anyone who listens to this will be like, no. He's right. Yeah.
Wes is
They'll
right?
just remember.
I'm definitely the underdog in this argument.
Yes.
'Cause
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I think I did as well as I could have.
I think you did a
in
good
the
job.
course of it all.
You definitely changed my mind on a few things.
Oh, did I?
If I can.
I would be insulted if you didn't. But anyway, that brings us to our. I have nothing else to add.
No, that's it.
I think
That's good.
I feel. I
We'll
feel
leave
like
it up to the
case
people.
too.
We'll let the people decide.
We'll let the people decide. So that brings us to our on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And what has been on your mind, Wes? I'm very excited for yours.
Yes. Hold on 1 second
Okay,
here.
yes.
Let me just pull up. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait.
You're
wait
good.
for it.
I gotta let Tim know
One
that he
more.
can come back in the studio.
Okay.
So
So, for those of you watching the live stream at home, I had a Coca-Cola before coming on the air today, and it's a Share a Coke with Ferguson. Ferguson.
I've never.
Who is Ferguson? And why do I have to share a Coke with this person? And why have I never, ever come across a Share a Coke with Wesley? Or Wes? Or Weston?
Weston. I'd be surprised. I mean,
I know a couple Westons.
I think I knew one Weston. I think I've only known one Weston in my life. But tell you the truth,
It doesn't. I don't get it.
I have
Ferguson? I saw one with Martinez. They're just putting last names on here now.
clearly.
Why don't you get my first name? Like, my first name isn't that, like, unique or, like, out,
My first name became fairly common in our generation. Like,
Yeah.
from 4 years younger than me, obviously you 4 years older than me. I think I've only seen Nick or Nicholas once.
Really, I feel like they come out bigger in Christmas time.
That could be part of what it is.
Nicholas,
That could be why. I just wonder
Because you
if,
wouldn't get Nick, right? Because your full name's Nicholas, right?
Yeah. I guess I don't know how they do it. I don't get many Cokes these days, to be honest with you. If I'm getting soda, it's either orange soda or Sprite. But
Oh, okay.
But I just wonder if that one was if Wesley was a popular one, because I feel like Wesley. I wouldn't call it a common name, but it's not an uncommon name.
Right, exactly.
So I wonder
And I think it's unisex too. I think you can even women could be called that. I think it's very rare. But
Really?
I think so.
Is the way you have it spelt common, or is there usually a T?
No, I've never seen it with a T.
I thought I had seen one person with a T, but maybe that was
I
just
think
me.
that is the outlier.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I could be completely wrong.
'Cause every Wesley that I've met is no T, and it's not Wesley either.
It's Wesley.
It's Wesley.
Yeah. Do I say Wesley sometimes?
I mean, it happens. It doesn't bother me.
That's why
as
I
much
just
anymore.
say Wes.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, exactly. And my friends call me Wes. Yeah, that's how it works.
So it's okay if I call you Weston too?
No. I said my friends call me Wes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. But yes, your
layup right there.
Your complaint about Ferguson is definitely
I don't
warranted.
know what's up with that.
I've only heard of Fergie Jenkins and
They have
Fergie.
a football in there. Yeah, I don't know. It's bullshit.
Leroy Jenkins is the other that I was thinking of.
Oh yeah,
Leroy Jenkins.
Leroy Jenkins
from the video, the guy who's like running, he's like playing Madden, running down the side.
Oh, put the team on my back.
Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Fergie Jenkins, Leroy Jenkins, and Fergie. Anyway.
And Jabrickashaw.
Jabrickashaw, that's right. Oh, yes, that's right. Who could forget?
Now, if I saw a name share a Coke with Jabrickashaw, I would throw it. Rip shit fit. That's nice. I just came up with that on the spot. I like that.
Very well done. I wouldn't blame you in that instance, I guess.
Okay. What's
that
on your
important
mind?
to you. So on my mind, so we talked about what we're going to do for our next show because we have the next two kind of planned out. We're not certain which order yet, but we're leaning towards talking about Zombieland Double Tap next week. If not, we're going to do it the week after. But try and see it as, if in preparation for next week's show. And instead, I wanted to mention my favorite horror movie of all time because we're going to possibly talk about that. But it looks like we're not going to do it. So my actually two favorites, they're sequel and prequel or sequel and original. 28 Days Later. 28 Weeks Later. 28 Weeks Later was the second one.
Zombie movie.
Yes, zombie movies. I saw 28 Weeks Later first.
Oh, yeah?
And, when 28 Days Later came out, I was definitely too young to see. I would have had nightmares. I had nightmares watching the two of these as it was.
Right, yeah.
Because I grew up in Westport, as you know, and where I lived, it was like there were woods everywhere.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was always terrified that like they were just going to start popping out of nowhere and just the way some of them come at you, and these are like rabid zombies. These are
this isn't
worst.
like slow moving slog. Yeah, no. They're coming after you.
They're the worst
Like
kind of
World
zombies.
War Z zombies.
Yes, they are World War Z zombies, and I don't know. The World War Z zombies were less scary, though. I would say.
Yeah. These I remember seeing like the commercials and stuff for this. And I probably caught like a couple minutes on HBO or something like that.
Okay.
I know. I'm familiar with these zombies.
Because the World War Z zombies are like bite you, move on.
Right.
These might bite you and move on, but they're more than likely gonna just like beat the crap out of you, bite you, maybe kill you, maybe turn you. I don't know. But then you just turn to this rage-infested like.
Yeah, not.
But I loved those movies. They scared.
So
the
you're a
crap
zombie
out of
guy
me.
because you like The Walking Dead.
I did like The Walking Dead.
You like Zombieland?
I like Zombieland. Yeah, I guess I kind of am a zombie guy,
Yeah.
but they scare the ever-living daylights out of me.
The first movie this is one of the real reasons why I don't like scary movies and everything is that I saw Nightmare on Elm Street too early. One of the Freddy Krueger movies, and I always had inner ear problems. And there's this one scene, Tim might remember this now that he's back in the studio, where this guy was deaf, and in his dreams they took a giant Q-tip and stuck it through either end, and it came out, and the brains were.
Oh, sorry.
It's not on. Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street 3: The Dream Warriors.
Yep, that was it for me. That freaked me out. Oh. I always had inner ear problems. My the doctors tell you don't go too deep.
Yeah.
That's the end result. It's coming out the other end. Yeah, no thank you.
Yeah, that'd mess you up.
Those movies, if you go back and watch them now,
Laughable.
and you can see like what they were really going for the comedy. Like by the time they got to 4, it was like more about the joke than it was the horror.
Right, but for like a 6 or 7-year-old, like I'm not getting the joke there.
Right. When you're older, you watch it, you're like, why would I have been afraid of this? But as
Yeah.
a kid, it was terrifying.
Right.
Yeah. I got scared by Clue when I was a kid too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, do you remember that movie, Tim? Did you see it, Wes?
Yeah,
No,
but
but-
I'm trying to think of why you would be scared of it.
Because I get scared over dumb stuff. That was more when I was a kid. Because it was like there was murder involved in that movie, and suspense and everything like that.
Right.
And big house.
And maybe you can't differentiate the suspense from the scariness.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely
The
ran
horror.
into that. Yeah.
I can get that. Yeah.
Yeah, there was.
I'm with you.
It was a mystery aspect, all that stuff. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Wes, you make me feel better. This guy
I'm
over
trying
here.
to. I know.
I love scary movies.
So, do you know what your favorite one is of all time?
Poltergeist.
Yeah.
The original
You
1982
said that before.
Poltergeist.
And I liked it.
And then The Exorcist is pretty good. I don't really find The Exorcist to have a lot of rewatchability.
Right.
Like, I have to wait a couple of years. I'll watch Poltergeist every single time it comes on. And I just found out while I was in my office that...
breaking news.
Personal breaking news. But
Yeah.
I'm doing a convention in December that
Nice.
it's a horror con that's happening in Connecticut. And I just found out that the kid that played Gage in the original Pet Sematary from the 1980s.
Oh, that movie also
version,
freaked me out. Yeah.
the little kid in that movie that was like, come and play with me, mommy. Like he's going to be at this convention.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
he used to freak out my mom. So I'm like, that's definitely going to be a phone call I'm going to have to make. Like, here, will you talk to my mom?
Wait, so I have before we go, last second audible here. I know we were talking about doing Zombieland Double Tap next week, but it is Halloween, and we were trying to think of a good Halloween-esque episode to do.
We had that and they had the candy.
With the candy one. Why don't we sit down and do like a spooky South Coast crossover with Tim Weisberg about some local like haunted houses or something like that? Like, I think that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, and I've been saying we should do a crossover. I'll kick it out to the Spooky South Coast podcast feed, and
You want to do that next time then instead?
Let's
new
do that
listeners?
next time. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like a plan to me.
I think we have an untapped resource here.
I think listeners will like
I
that.
think people would love get a little inside look and then give a
So-
little extra pub to
wanna talk
Spooky
about-
South Coast, which it doesn't need.
And give us
it's
the extra
actually
pop on Spooky.
Yeah, we'll give you a little.
Right,
more
exactly.
pop on.
Yes, but still.
I'm getting 10,000 downloads a day right now.
A day?
A day.
Not
That's
a
because
big,
I just uploaded. After like
Jesus.
weeks of not updating the feed, I just did. So like now we're getting tons of downloads because everybody's trying to get the old episodes that I hadn't put up.
Yeah.
So you want to do
Okay.
real life haunted places? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Maybe we'll come. We'll come find some popular ones. I know you're very close to the Amityville Horror. Mm-hmm. Maybe
Tim tells some
we
great
could talk
stories,
some
too.
things about the Bridgewater Triangle around here locally.
Okay.
Maybe Salem witch trials. I'm not sure your familiarity with that.
Pretty familiar.
Things like that, right?
Yeah.
I'm
I
actually
think
going to
that'll
be. I'm going to
Let's
be
do
in
that,
Salem on Saturday doing a ghost event.
Want to do that
Okay.
for next week?
Yeah, let's do that.
Tim, does that work for you? For next week?
Sounds good to me.
All right, awesome. So we will talk to you guys then with scary story time with Tim Weisberg.
I love that.